Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone who is watching this show from various parts of the world. I guess wherever you are, and that's the reason I say always good morning, good afternoon, good evening. With that said, welcome to Global Electronics Friday Talk Show. Your host Rajiv Kulkarni welcoming you. Today's date is 7th of February 2025. Yes, and Global Electronics brings you every Friday one special guest who is engaged in the electronics industry, electronics manufacturing, and whether it can be in India, whether it can be in the North America or in the Europe, wherever, whichever part of the world. The basic idea of this channel is to give or share the knowledge from the experts to all of you, and it can be process engineering, it can be quality issues, it can be the certification, it can be something to related with the market outlook and the sales and the marketing or the program management. So anything that connects the electronics manufacturing. So let's begin today's show, and before that I would like to mention about the topic. Today's topic is basically the Indian electronics market outlook. Okay, so basically, the Indian electronics is growing very rapidly, as we all know. It is the largest populated country in the world right now, and which is actually filled with the highly skilled resources, highly skilled manpower, as we all know. So it is growing rapidly and it is driven by increasing demand from households, changing lifestyles, and rising disposable incomes. Yes, the market size is estimated around 73 to 75 billion dollar in 2022. Okay, and is expected to grow at a compound annual rate of 6.8 to 7% from 23 to 2030. So, what can be the key drivers of this market growth, or what is the government initiative, and what is the market segmentation, and so on and so forth? Today, we will be discussing, and for that, we have the industry expert, and he basically is an expert in the electronics manufacturing industry for the last 3 decades plus, and he's not only worked in various capacity in the electronics manufacturing industry but also served the industry at different levels. Currently he is employed, he's working with Alpha Macdermaid at a very senior level, and then he's also senior vice president of ELCNIA. ELCNIA is in short Electronics Components Industries Association of India, which is the largest and which is the oldest association that is in India. Let's welcome Mr. Richard Puthota from Chennai. Richard, welcome to the show, and thank you very much for taking your time and joining Global Electronics. I know how busy you are. You're always on the toes. You're always on the move, traveling globally. But thank you very much for sparing your time. How are you today, Richard?
Fine. Thank you, Rajiv, for hosting me. I'm very glad to be part of this show. And yeah, nice to
Very,
see you also after a very long time.
yeah, it's been a long time. I remember still, so 25 years back when we used to be colleagues and
Yes.
back in Bangalore, and those were the fun days we had.
Yes.
So it's amazing memories there. So yeah. So Richard, let's if before we get on to the main topic, let's a little bit hear about yourself. You know, originally where are you from, and what's your background, and how many years you have served right now in the electronics industry.
Sure, sure. Uh, I'm basically from Chennai, but I had my graduation in chemical technology in Hyderabad, Usmania University, in 1985. And I then joined a refinery, a re-refinery in Chennai. And within few months, I didn't like the smell of lubricants. So I had then look at maybe there was a calling for me from electronic industry. I like the thrill of doing pre-engineering and DFM for a PC fab company in Chennai back then. That
Wow.
was, yeah, they were actually, can you believe they were catering to the black and white television market those days in 1985?
Wow. Wow.
Brands like Solidar,
Yeah.
Dynavision,
Yeah.
those kind
I
of
remember those, yeah, brands. Yeah.
Western TV today, it's become one of the largest EMS companies in India called Dixon Technologies. So they were all
Yes,
my
yes.
customers.
Dixon,
Yes,
yes, yes,
yes,
yes. I know them. Yeah.
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 So currently, what I'm working for Macdermaid Alpha Electronic Solutions, a group company of ESI, Element Solutions Incorporated, headquartered in US. And also, I'm serving as a senior vice president for ELCNIA. Okay, primarily my job involves at McDermott to create sustainable value for customers, improve their processes, and the segments we work are multiple, especially automotive electronics, where they make advanced driver assist systems,
Yeah.
ECUs, body electronics, sensor assemblies, and in smartphones, they are state of the art. Chennai has got Foxconn, and they make
Yeah.
big drops today here. And uh,
Right.
and for telecom guys on the 5G telecom gear, industrial guys who make energy meters, consumer electronics, big time appliances, televisions, LEDs mostly, and medical and defense, aerospace, electronics. These are the segments we address in India,
Okay.
and we help them improve their processes and, of course, improve their quality and reliability. So
Wow.
that's what our company has been there in this business for a very long time, long history of product and process excellence. And that helps me to develop customized solutions. Especially, these days, there are challenges in assembly, in power and thermal management, especially,
Yes.
yeah, technologies, driving miniaturization, where you need to really manage thermal as well as, voiding levels, tombstoning, other those, issues in the process that we address. That's what I do, Rajiv, these days. And I'm still
Excellent.
enjoying over 40 years now. I'm
Oh,
still passionate about it.
yeah. That's a passion which keeps you going and which keeps you and whoever is passionate about certain things, that keeps a person very healthy and young, I would say. And electronics is one of them, and also same thing is with me. Electronics is very, very, a passionate subject for me. So currently, you mentioned ELCNIA. So what exactly is ELCNIA, if
Yeah.
if people can understand, and what is the
Yeah.
role of
Yeah.
ELCNIA in the electronics industry?
So, I mean, I'm so proud to talk about ELCNIA. Yeah, ELCNIA, Electronics Industries Association of India, was established in 1967 as the first industry association supporting electronics hardware when India's electronic industry was still in its infancy. Since then, ELCNIA has established itself as an interactive forum for electronics and IT manufacturers.
Mm.
ELCNIA actively interacts with the government and advises it on policy and business environment issues. It networks with technical institutions and business support organizations in India and abroad, both, to
Okay.
enable business expansion and information and dissemination on technical developments. With greater liberalization, ELCNIA's focus has shifted to professional and value-added services to the electronic industries and the entire community. So ELCNIA is also organizing, for example, in this month in Chennai, a big event named as Source India, a
Okay.
majorly promote local manufacturing of components and provide a great platform for major OEMs from different segments, from automotive, smartphones, industrial, consumer electronics, and from, I mean, like I said before, and all the EMS people who are doing contract manufacturing for major OEMs again, and for them as buyers to meet the sellers here. So there are more than 150 exhibitors showcasing their products in this show, and their services, experts talking on emerging technologies, and the industry leaders talking about, and with the top office bearers of government discussing on business way forward and support the industry needs for driving that 500 billion goal by 2030. So this is going to be a very interesting show. It's ever growing, and we have been part of this for many years. It's already 14 years. And this time we are expecting much more attendance, much more business in this upcoming show, which is going to be on 18th and 19th of February this month.
Oh, very, very soon it's coming then.
Yes,
Okay. I mean, is there still any room for people to exhibit or register for the exhibit?
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. We can help them, guide them. Yeah.
Okay. And they can go to ELCNIA website to do the registration or?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They can reach out to us anytime through
Okay.
website. And even if they want to just participate, get involved, please let us know. We will guide them.
Okay. So it's called Source India, is it?
Source India, Source India.
Wow, that name is also very attractive,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
also I think it definitely opens up a lot of
Yes, yes,
doors for the manufacturers
yes,
in India, and
yes,
it's purely based on the electronics and its
yes.
application, and so for both the equipment as well as the material manufacturer or suppliers.
Yeah. This
Okay,
was initiated way back by Nokia top leadership.
is that right? Okay,
Yes, yes, when they were here and they actually wanted to source locally, add local content in their manufacturing. And that's how they came out with the ELCNIA together. And ever since, we are seeing tremendous support for this event, and it's ever growing. And to mention
okay,
about a key person, today is the president of ZWorks, Mr. Josh Folker, who is
okay.
who really initiated this Source India, and today we are really doing great in this show.
That would be so good. I wish I would have attended, but unfortunately, it's too short of a period of
Next
time
year,
to.
yeah,
And yeah,
yeah,
yeah, next time, yeah. So good. I think we wish you all the best for that, and I will also um, spread the word if somebody wants to,
yes, please.
exhibit or participate. They can, get in touch with Elsina or you guys, and then take it from there. Excellent. So, how the Elsina roles plays in the Indian electronics industry?
Yeah, it has been great actually. I mean, their main objectives of this association is promoting the growth of the electronics components industry in India and providing a platform for members to discuss industry issues, share knowledge, and network. And there are several good case studies. They have done good surveys on, especially if anybody wants to invest in PC fab, they
Mm.
have an excellent market report, which they can approach ELCNIA. And it has sized the Indian market, how many billions of dollars worth of PCBs are imported day in, day out. And that will really help an investor to really consider that
Yeah.
as one of the a driver for investment here. And ELCNIA represents industry before the government, regulatory bodies, and
Okay.
international organizations. And their activities are actually, advocacy. ELCNIA works with the government to promote policies that support the growth of electronic component industry. And they are also into training and development. The association provides training and development programs for its members to enhance their skills and knowledge. We have more than 300 industries enrolled in the membership, and they provide networking opportunities. So ELCNIA organizes conferences, seminars, and exhibitions to provide networking opportunities for the members. And research and development. The association supports research and development initiatives to promote innovation in the electronic component industry. Okay. And the members come from various segments again, component manufacturers, ESDM companies, R&Ds, materials companies like us, academic institutions from several backgrounds, lighting companies, securities, major EMS companies. They all drive this. This is one of the oldest and most active electronics associations in India.
Yeah, very nice to hear that, because I remember before leaving from India to the US, I was also very actively engaged in the ELCNIA activities.
That's great to hear.
In Delhi, and those days, we had a lot of restriction on the imports, lot of the raw material imports and everything, and ELCNIA was one of the key body, as you rightly mentioned, where they would interact with the government bodies, authorities, and they try to influence to help the electronics manufacturers. So yeah, I mean it's a great organization, I would say, in India. Yeah. So Indian electronics, as we know, it's growing very fast now. So what do you think? What can be the key players or key drivers against this?
Yeah, like you mentioned before, key
Yeah.
factors which are driving the growth of India's electronics manufacturing include massive consumer base. So that's the biggest driver. Rising disposable incomes and rapid urbanizations. New initiatives to boost electronics component manufacturing in India, and the government of India is preparing to launch a new scheme focused on manufacturing components for electronic gadgets like smartphones, laptops, and tablets. So this initiative aims to replicate the success of India's mobile phone production sector and reduce a dependence on imports. So some of the key highlights which I can share with you are, the central government plans to allocate almost about 4.7 billion for this initiative, expecting to attract 9.6 billion in private investments. That's
Okay.
the initiative. And the output projected by the government is this could generate a total production value between 23 to 24 billion during its tenure.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
the key goal is to strengthen local manufacturing of critical components such as PC fab, which we are, over 80% dependent on imports,
Yeah.
and displays and capacitors. So that's why in the recent budget, which is very favorable to especially to electronic industry, where they have imposed higher BCD on displays, and that is going to trigger local manufacturing, and a lot of companies whom I know are investing in that component and capacitors. So this aligns with the government's self-reliant India, which is known as Atmanirbhar Bharat,
Oh, yeah.
aiming to create jobs and spur economic growth, develop resilient supply chain, reduce reliance on imports, and bolster national self-reliance. So this is going to be driving our industry way forward. So India's electronics manufacturing growth is, today driven by smartphones, automotive electronics, and other industrial segments, as I just mentioned earlier. So, several sectors. So there are policies which are supporting the federal and state government level, like a PLI scheme, which you would have heard before, Rajiv,
Yeah.
which encourages domestic production of high priority components like batteries, printed circuit board assembly, and displays. And believe me, the Semicon India program is going to be a game changer for India. So they are promoting semiconductor design and manufacturing. And of course, they're encouraging now. I mean, the government of India now realizes the importance of research and development. So on that, import duty exemptions on imports for research and development and testing for to foster innovation. That's another major thing which we see in the budget, and expanding domestic and export markets. So that's the,
Excellent.
yes,
I think there's a lot of things are happening, as you rightly mentioned: smartphone,
yes,
automotive electronics, consumer electronics. Definitely, I mean, and then of course the consumers, they have the spending power so much now, and the lifestyles are changing, and people are getting into more and more very
yes,
healthy lifestyle. So that naturally there are equipment being made for that, and for that the electronics, you need the electronics. So electronics market growth is,
yes,
directly, affecting the growth in terms of the positive way, I would
yes.
say. That's great. That's great. So now, when you compare the Indian electronics manufacturing technologies with the other low cost manufacturing, let's take the name China or Vietnam, those kind of things. So, where do we stand today in terms of technological development? Because I have visited these countries quite often. I've seen how people work there, and people, back in India. So, what is your take on that?
Okay. It's a challenging question to answer anyway.
Yes, it is. It is. It
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
whatever
yeah.
comfortable
No,
way
we
you
must
can answer.
admit, okay, let
Yeah.
me be honest. Although China remains the world's top production hub, India has made improvements in automation and worker training,
Mm.
which have reduced manufacturing costs, particularly for labor-intensive consumer products. I can say with utmost confidence that by imposing BCD on appliances,
Mm.
they, which were imported from China and elsewhere, when we had this BCD levied, there was a motivation for investors to come and invest in India, especially on the compressor side, moldings, and several other components that goes into the air conditioners.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's part of the growth actually for us. But I can say that Chinese have worked hard, planned diligently, and are reaping the benefits. Good for them. Very impressive. They have set new goals and objectives to aspire to. But India, we are in the process. The work is
Yeah.
in progress. Will take time. But to mention, federal government is doing all the right things today, understanding from and industries, people like us, to create this manufacturing ecosystem. See, one thing I can say very clearly, hands down, China has scale. We don't have that. So creating that scale is what is federal government now understands, uh, and to have more of local value add in whatever devices we produce here. And for that, they are creating conducive policies and infrastructure for foreign direct investment into India. So large business houses in India, you would have heard about big names. They are getting big into electronics manufacturing now. They
Oh,
want
that's
to be
great.
the Foxcons of, the
Mm-hmm.
world actually here. So I can say that, that's one good thing we saw in the recent years, that big business houses of India, they understand now that electronics is going to be a key segment that they can invest into, which can reap a lot of benefits for the country itself. And we are seeing that happening today. And they are making now smartphones with the latest technology for the big OEMs. I don't want to mention the names, but they're really doing great on that.
Sure.
And especially I can see in Tamil Nadu in particular, there are several manufacturing hubs in India. When you look at NCR and Tamil Nadu, they are leading the growth. And I can say that there are two major investments coming in Tamil Nadu in particular for the PC boards. So PCB is going to be, happening soon here. One is expanding and the other one is having a greenfield project now, big time. They're
That's
talking
good.
about, 130K
So
square
you
feet.
mentioned the PCB fab
Yeah.
companies are investing, big time. It's going to come in India. So what about the main core material, the laminates manufacturing? Is there any talks happening on those side?
Yes, we were in Bhopal a week ago. There are specific industry clusters being developed only for PCB. Like
Okay,
in Gwalior, the Madhya Pradesh government, we met the chief secretary. He was offering a big arena where they can house the supply chain for the PC fab, where you can have laminate manufacturers there, you can have pre-preg manufacturers, copper foil guys, solder
okay.
mask, and PC fab, entire the ecosystem to be present within one campus. And they are giving a lot of jobs. In fact, in this month, on 24th, if I am right, they have this global investors meet in Bhopal, and they are announcing a lot of incentives for the investors, especially in the PC fab sector.
Wow, that's fantastic news. That is always I dream about
Yes.
India having the why India we cannot have the
Yeah.
laminate.
My
You
dream
know,
too. Yes.
yeah, I mean it is such a.
Yeah.
I would say that all the big names, the business groups that we have in India, they probably should, invest in this sector, and which can definitely directly affect the imports, and
Yeah.
in terms of, I mean, we can gain a lot of dollars there by,
Yes.
stopping the importation of all these
Yes.
laminates and
Yes.
have that developed in the, in India itself. I think
Yes.
I definitely urge the government officials or whoever is watching this to think on this laminate manufacturing investment, because that is definitely needed for Indian PCB manufacturing companies, because everybody is importing right now the
Yes.
laminates, so there is
Yeah,
nothing.
that's one sad thing. I mean, which whenever I look at the numbers of PC printed circuit boards coming into India, and mostly for smartphones, I don't think we have capability in India, high density interconnect boards and multi-layer boards, which go into automotive electronics, high-end
Yeah,
side.
high-end side.
I feel, I mean, it's time India
Yeah,
as the market, and I'm
right.
seeing it now happening now, and a large groups which are already into electronics, largest EMS company investing, one of the largest companies are investing into the PC fab, and they are already into it now. The project is on. We are
Okay,
expecting, yeah,
that's
them to
great.
produce. Yeah,
So, Richard, we are almost coming to the end of the show. I mean, 30 minutes just flies away like that. So, before we wrap up, what do you think the overall market outlook it looks in the next coming years for the
yeah,
Indian
yeah,
electronics?
yeah. It looks really great. Electronic production is expected to grow to a compound annual growth rate, CAGR of about 26% between 2023 and 2030, with
Wow.
a projected value of US 500 billion by 2030. And there's a focus on, I mean, you name the segment in India, they are all upbeat now. And the electronic content say, in automotive electronics, in a car, it's ever growing. The electronic content, the rate of growth of electronic content is superseding the growth of car sales itself. And on top of that, the EV side of the business in automotive is going to add only more electronics. So we are valuing, and this market, automotive electronics market is projected to reach about US 74 billion by year 32. The rise of electric vehicles, EVs, and advanced systems, they are driving the growth for India. With the electronic content, as I mentioned, in the vehicle is expected to increase from 20% to 40 to 50% within a decade.
Wow.
And I mean, according to a recent report by the Confederation of Indian Industry, India's electronics industry needs a fundamental shift from its current import reliant to assembly-driven model to a focus on value-added component manufacturing, which is the current topic, which is understood by top officials in the government representing MeitY, industry associations, and the industry as a whole. Now we understand from the present value addition of a lower double digit 15% in probably smartphone to go to 30-40% as a immediate goal, and that's why federal government and state governments are driving this FDI into the country by facilitating with several schemes, and that's why you see semiconductor industries investing big into India, and you will see investments coming into India in electronics way forward.
Excellent. Thank you so very much, Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are watching from, today's topic was Indian electronics market outlook, and we have Mr. Richard Puthota, who is the Senior Vice President of ELCNIA, which is oldest and the largest electronics association of India, and they are heavily engaged in the electronics manufacturing activities in India and for the growth of electronics market for India. And also Mr. Richard is the Senior Business Development Director working with the Alpha Macdermaid Solutions, and he has been in the electronics industries for last 4 decades and continues to serve the electronics industry in the coming few decades for sure. And so we wish Richard all the best for the ELCNIA, for the work he is putting in through ELCNIA for the development of electronics industry. Richard, anything before we wrap up, any message you want to give it to our audience?
I mean, we welcome investments into India, and this is the right time to invest. India is growing. I mean, we are in fact getting into electronics big time. So this is the right time for investing into India, especially on component side, PC fab, and assembly is happening big time. So we welcome everyone who want to be part of this growth in India.
And thank you very much, Richard. And please don't forget to go to ELCNIA's website and check for the Source India, the exhibition which is happening in Chennai on the 18th and 19th of this month. Definitely, I think it's a great value-added exhibition for all the Indian electronics manufacturers or suppliers, and definitely take a look at ELCNIA's website and be a part of that. Richard, thank you once again for your valuable time. I know that you have to catch a flight tonight and you are traveling, and thank you for giving us time, and thank you for sharing the knowledge about the electronics market to our audience, and we wish you all the best, and we will be in touch.
Thanks, Rajiv. Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah,
thank you very much. Thank you, Sandeep, for the audio visual support, And thank you all the audience who watched today's show. And we will meet with yet another topic next Friday at the same time with another industry expert. Thank you again. God bless.